Hello viewers, this is part 2 to the abstract animal tutorial in Adobe Illustrator. So now that we finished our value scale of our complementary colors, we want to start putting our abstract shapes and geometric shapes into our artboard. So the first step is either selecting the pen tool in the toolbar, which is here, making sure that you're on just the pen tool, or hitting P on your keyboard. Now, each point that you make is an anchor point. So here I'm going to make my first anchor point for this part of the nose. I'm just going to map out the plane that I'm going to make here. And each point that I select is going to create an anchor point that will drag along. You can see it's already filling in with blue here, but we're going to change that in just a minute. You want to make sure that with each geometric shape that you make, that you're always going to the anchor point that you started with. So now I have one full shape. So then I'm going to select V to click off of my pen tool shape that I've made here. And I want to make sure that I'm not selected to that. And that's what I'm going to do when I want to make another shape. But for the sake of this tutorial, I want to be selected to this shape so that I could change the color that it's filled with. I could do that by going here to the eyedropper, make sure that the eyedrop tool is selected, or click on I on my keyboard. And now I'm just going to select a color from my value scale. And I'm going to go with this color here. And it's not the mid-tone point, but it's that lighter color right to the side. And you could choose any color you want or make as many anchor points as you want. For the sake of this video tutorial, I'm making it pretty simple. So then I want to make sure I click V for the selection tool and select off of my previous shape. Then I'm going to hit P and start with my next shape. So here I'm going to go with the nose, and here I'm just roughly making a shape. It's not exactly going with the nose, but it is an abstract animal. So, but I am making sure that I am connecting it to my first anchor point. Then I'm going to hit I to click on black for the nose, and then select B to click off of the shape. And I'm just going to keep doing that with each plane that I make on the face. And now again I'm hitting P, going to the center of these two where they connect, bringing it back over. Now I'm just going to go do a little bit more of the mouth. Now this shape has overlapped my nose shape, which is fine because we can finish the shape. And then I will go to the selected color I want, which this area is a little bit whiter on the fox. I'm not going to make it white, but I will hit I for my eyedrop tool and click on a shade that's pretty light. And then click V off. Now this shape is in front of the nose shape that I want. So what I'm going to do is select the nose shape. I'm going to go up to Object, Arrange, and Bring to Front. Now my nose shape is in front of that shape that I previously made. Now I'm going to go to my next shape, and I'm just doing the other side of the mouth here. And again, I've overlapped that shape, and I want to click I for my eyedrop tool. And then I'm going to grab from this side because I want it to be the same color. Then I'm going to click V and select the nose shape that I made and do the same thing. I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. And so there we have that. Now I want a little bit more of an indentation here, which can be a little bit tricky because you're making a smaller shape. So we're going to go ahead and hit P. and create that smaller shape, but making sure that I have the correct anchor points. You could also do this by going to the zoom tool here and just coming in so I could see that a little bit better because it is a smaller shape. Then click V, click off, and see how I've made this smaller shape here. To zoom out, you could go to the percentage and go to 100, and you're back to where you went. If you need it a little bit closer, you can adjust it this way. And that seems like a pretty good spot that I want to be in. So the next step is just mapping out each plane, and I'll be doing this with every single shape that I make, always clicking on the pen tool, starting the plane that I want to make with my anchor points, and I want to make sure that I'm choosing the colors I want by clicking I and selecting that color. And we're going to be doing that for the rest of the time for the video. And this will all come together at the end, and then we'll put in some extra little bits, and I'll show you a few other things that you can do with your animal after you've gotten to a completed part. And I'll just be doing the head here, still repeating myself, hitting P for pen tool, and just mapping out more planes. Click on I or the eyedropper on your toolbar and select the background because that will give you the same white that you need. So now I'm just going to keep doing this with all my planes. And if you're ever unhappy with one of the shapes that you've made, you could always click off with V, select it, and hit delete on your keyboard. You could also overlap other shapes if you'd like a different color. See here on the nose, I would like a slightly different color than what's already there. So then I've made my shape with my anchor points, and then I'm going to select separate color. Here, the color is grasping what's also on the cheek, so every color that I make will also change the color of that shape. So what we're going to do is go back to that shape that I've just previously made. And that's what helped me realize that my anchor points here are not connected. So I'm going to hit P, and to fix this, I will choose V and delete this. And then I'll select my pen tool and just map it out again so that I know that it is all connected together and that I'm on the right anchor point. Then select V and unselect that. Then I'm going to go back and zoom out. Now I know that if I make that shape again, it won't select a different shape. It's okay to mess up on your anchor points and just hit Command Z if you don't like the shapes that you've created. Here I realize I just want a little bit more variation in my color, so I'm going to make several different shapes. And by changing the color of each shape that you make, you're adding a little bit of dimension to your abstract animal. And for here, the fur has a lot of different stroke, but then again, it is abstract, so you're able to kind of make it what you want it to be. To make it the color you'd like right away while you're making it with the pen tool, you just select the eyedrop tool or select I on your keyboard, and then you won't have to go back later, but it's your preference really. The image is strictly as a reference, so never feel like you have to do exactly what the image shows. Now I've changed the color in either ear because of the way that the light is hitting the figure. So over here you'll find it a little bit lighter on this side than you will here. It's okay to make it symmetrical, it's just to give it a little bit more depth or diversity. It doesn't have to be extremely symmetrical. Now at this point I haven't put any blue into my color scheme, so I'm just going to go ahead and play with the shapes that I have now. And choose some darker colors that go in, and I'm just playing around with what looks good to me. Make sure that you're selecting each shape with V or the selection tool, then using I, the eyedropper, to play with the colors. Here I'm liking how this dark blue on the ears are looking, and maybe these darker shades can also be a darker blue. Now, you could integrate it into the animal or have it with a different animal, like this buck here. I've incorporated red antlers and left the body green. So that could also be similar. Just make sure that you have a variation of value of each color. So here I've only used dark blue, But now I could start integrating some other values of that blue by selecting other colors. I like the nose the color it is. Maybe here I could select a lighter blue. Just to give it a little diversity and integrate those complementary colors. I want to create little sparkles in the eye as well, so I could integrate blue there too. The eye. Just little details. I can also integrate other colors. So here I've got the head pretty much where I want it to be. I could add a little additions here on the side just for the white, and maybe even a stroke on this side would be nice. But I also want to integrate the neck just to make it a little bit more interesting. Now that I've got a fox at a pretty good spot and I like the way it looks, I'm going to go ahead and go to Object, Unlock All, select my background image, and hit Delete on my keyboard. This way I could see any spots like this where there's white in between where I don't want the cracks at. Some of it kind of looks interesting, but I would rather it all be filled in. So this isn't the end of the world. You can grab and move certain shapes to fix this by clicking in and just moving them around. Or you create a new shape that covers those spaces in, or even you shift, move to make your shape a little bit bigger and have it fit. So you're doing it just like you were with the image that you inserted. You're just hitting shift, click, and drag to make that shape a little bit bigger so that it works and covers up those extra white spaces in between. It may take some fussing around with, but that's okay. Now once you've covered up all those white areas that you don't want, then the next step is being able to change the size of your artboard. And how you're going to do that is you're going to select File, Document Setup. Document Setup is also at the top here that you could also select. At this point, you're going to click over here at Edit Artboard. We do have some extra space below, and at this point it's in type of a type of crop tool that we could use. So we could crop it all down to the size we'd like it to be. And then just hit B for your move tool. And that is the abstract animal video tutorial. And this is, you could save your value scale as well as your animal, and that is the end of the assignment. Thanks for watching.